these guys have something to win. If Islam beat him, he beat one of the greatest welterweight all time.
If that does materialize, it's going to be obviously one of the most respectful competitions out there. But yo, we compete with our brothers each and every day.
Listen, just as Islam Makhachev makes UFC history again, the entire narrative takes a hard left turn. His promoter is now on record claiming they personally blocked a mega fight with Kamaru Usman. First up, you got Michael Bisping breaking it down, saying Islam absolutely shut down Dustin Poirier in a display of pure one-way traffic domination. He saw Poirier looking mentally broken, especially with his own corner screaming at him between rounds. Bisping didn't pull any punches. He straight up said he felt bad for him, while Paul Felder added that Poirier was fighting with his heart, completely overwhelmed by the moment.
Islam shut him down, dominated, one-way traffic, whatever you want to call it. Jack just wasn't in the fight. I felt for him though. I felt for him because he was like, you know, his cornerman in between rounds was like, what are you doing? Stop playing half guard. You got to go at him, and like basically just abusing him. And Jack just looked destroyed mentally, like, oh, I'm trying.
He looked emotional. He looked emotional, and I'm not saying that to even diss him, right?
And then, boom, enter Ali Abdelaziz. He drops a bombshell, saying he hopes the UFC finally books Kamaru Usman versus Islam Makhachev because the stakes are absolutely massive for both men. If Islam wins, he KOs one of the greatest welterweights to ever step in the cage. If Kamaru wins, he proves he can still conquer the absolute toughest challenge at 70 pounds. Ali makes it crystal clear even Kamaru knows Islam is his hardest possible matchup, calling it a monster fight if it ever goes down.
And hopefully we can see, you know, if Kamaru Usman fight Islam Makhachev. I think both these guys have something to win. If Islam beat him, he beat one of the greatest welterweight all time. Dana White can say, hey,
yeah,
Islam it is, right? If Kamaru wins, be like, it's a tough task. And Kamaru, no, Islam is his toughest fight out there, you know. And if this guy fight, man, it's a big fight, man. People can say whatever they want.
Next, Ali turns his attention to Ilia Topuria's tweet. He gives him props, calling him one of the greatest young fighters in the game, but then lays down the law, warning him about chasing a ghost who's 20 pounds heavier. He told Ilia straight up, build your own legacy, finish your contract, and earn that real pay-per-view money before you even start talking about Islam. Ali called him out for acting like Conor, just tweeting whenever a big fight is trending, and told him to create his own hype instead of riding someone else's wave.
But in a way, you're gonna be in the cage 20 pounds less than Islam. You understand? Yeah. You know, and create your own legacy. Build your own self. You're young, you're hungry, you're good. You know, make your money, run your contract out and get a new contract. You understand? And fight Islam for big prize money. Let Islam do his thing, you do your thing, and after that you guys fight. But in a way, I feel he's taking a page out of Conor's book. When big fights on, get on Twitter and write, and you get attention. Earn your own attention. Live your own legacy. Don't live legacy of other people. Create your own hype. Don't live other people's hype. And this is why I say people have to answer questions.
On top of that, you've got Henry Cejudo saying the only man who can truly push Islam Makhachev right now, and maybe even beat him, is Kamaru Usman. He hyped it up with a drum roll, calling Usman the one legitimate threat to Islam's suffocating dominance. Triple C emphasized that stylistically. From a technical standpoint, Usman has all the tools in the arsenal to give Islam a real 5-round war.
The Kamaru Usman, the only person that right now, in my opinion, that could give Islam Makhachev a run for his money and potentially even beat him. Can I get a drum roll? Come on, can I get a drum? Give me a drum roll, Kush.
And what does the Nigerian Nightmare Kamaru Usman have to say? He's responding, and he agrees that Islam is the most competitive matchup out there for him because he doesn't see a single hole in Islam's game. He compared that feeling to the immense pressure he felt before stepping into the octagon with Colby Covington. Usman says those are the matchups that bring out his most spectacular, career-defining performances, the kind of fight that forces your warrior spirit to show up and battle for every single inch.
When I look at a guy like Islam, I don't really see holes like that. And that's something that scares me, that causes that heartbeat to go up. And that's where you see some of the most spectacular performance. Because the last time I felt that like that was Colby Covington won. And that's when I was like, yo, you got a guy that can wrestle just as good as you, a guy that can grapple just as good, a guy that can maybe not strike it, but a guy that can strike just as well. You have a guy that's good at all these things. How do you get that victory? And that's where you live. That's where you get that, you know, your spirit just is in there to just fight it out.
Dana White chimed in, admitting that wasn't the most explosive title fight he's ever seen, but made one thing clear: Islam showed complete and utter dominance. He added that depending on what the UFC does next, Islam is clearly on a collision course with GOAT territory. Dana emphasized that it's Islam's relentless control and stone-cold consistency that make his rise to the top of the sport absolutely undeniable.
You know, not the most exciting title fight you'll ever see, but let me tell you what, complete dominance, and it's depending on what we do next with him and what's going on, this guy's headed toward.
Dana then tells this incredible story about Khabib running up to him right after the fight, begging to be the one to put the belt on Islam, and joked that Islam took more damage from that moment than from the entire 25-minute fight. He said Khabib's father always predicted this, that Khabib would dominate, and then Islam would take over right after him. For Dana, it's unbelievable how perfectly that prophecy has come true.
Yeah, so I was like, Khabib came up to me freaking out and screaming and says, "Can I put the belts on him, please?" I said, "Yeah." He goes over there and wraps him over the head with both the belts. I think he took more damage in getting his belts than he did during the fight. And I was saying to Khabib, I've been in the fight business since I was 20 years old, and all I ever hear is, this guy's going to be a world champion, this guy's going to do this guy's going to do that. Everybody says the same thing, and almost nobody ever does or makes it. His father said Khabib will go in and dominate, and he'll have a run, and when he's done, and then Islam will come in behind him and do the same. And, you know, holy shit, it played out exactly the way his father said, which is pretty amazing.
But hold up, because Chael Sonnen came out and said the fight was genuinely boring, calling it one of the dullest UFC title bouts he's seen in a long time. He made it clear he wasn't attacking the fighters or the UFC, he was just calling it exactly how he saw it from his perspective.
What would you say about the main event? It was boring. It was really boring. I haven't seen a UFC fight that was so boring. And I must tell you, I don't come in to complain against the product or the athletes or the system or the gaming of the system. I come in to just tell you when it was 2 fights in a row, where there was one sense of urgency from both of the champions.
And Chael didn't stop there. He said he was absolutely shocked by Poirier's lack of effort, watching Islam dominate him from bell to bell. He couldn't believe this was the same aggressive, violent Diamond that fight fans know. He called this version of Dustin very beatable, reserved, and nothing like the savage fighter people expected, adding that his punches were non-existent and carried zero intimidation factor whatsoever.
Effort by Jack, and I was surprised why that Jack isn't the one that Kamaru Usman got to face. I apologize that Bilal Muhammad didn't get to face. That Jack, very beatable. That Jack, kind of angry. That Jack, pretty reserved. I mean, those brutal, angry, non-existent punches weren't really that intimidating or effective.
Right after the octagon door closed, Ali Abdelaziz was making the rounds, saying Islam's dominance across 2 divisions proves he deserves respect as one of the greatest fighters on the planet today. He praised Poirier as a tough SOB, but said Islam made a world-class fighter look completely outmatched. Ali drove the point home. Islam consistently makes elite opponents look ordinary, and this was just another masterclass performance.
4 title defense, lightweight division. Now win lightweight, welterweight title. Dominance performance. Jack Mandalena is a very tough guy. He make him look today like he's white belt. No disrespect, but this is what happened. That's the truth. And in a way, now you don't have to like us, but you have to respect this man. You know, they put some respect on his name and start. In my opinion, he's greatest fighter of all the time today. The way he beat guys and make him look like they not even they fight in a small promotions and they come short note in the UFC and he beat world champions. They are like amateurs, and this is what happened today. Jack Mandalena is very tough fighter. Big respect to him and his team. They did preparation, but Islam was too much tonight.
Then Ali dropped the call out. He said Islam wants Kamaru Usman next. He pointed to Usman's insane 15-fight win streak and 5 title defenses as stone cold proof that he's one of the greatest welterweights to ever do it. Ali was emphatic, saying Kamaru is a brutally tough opponent and never an easy night for anyone, calling him the real deal and making it clear that Islam only wants to face the real deal.
He said he want to fight Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman is 15-fight winning streak, 5 title defenses, greatest welterweight of all the time. Beating all these young guys. What does that do for his legacy? He don't do nothing for his legacy. Kamaru Usman is a very tough opponent, and I represent him too. And it's not an easy night for anybody. Kamaru Usman is a real.
While breaking down that potential matchup, AKA's head coach Javier Mendez had to correct the record. He said he misspoke when he called Kamaru the greatest welterweight ever. In his eyes, Georges St-Pierre still holds that spot, but he immediately added that Usman is absolutely one of the greats and a legitimate threat, which is exactly why he would be a seriously worthy opponent for Islam.
Possible, and you know what? I made a comment that I got to take back. I said he was the greatest welterweight of all time and deserved it, and I'm like thinking, what the hell am I thinking? I go, my God, no way. No. He's the great one of the great ones, yes, but not the greatest welterweight. GSP's the greatest welterweight of all time. You know, I mean, he's got the most title defenses and the most domination, you know, GSP does. So I take that word back. So correct me, because
Michael Bisping is firing back at the critics, saying Islam has never been a boring fighter, pointing directly to his spectacular finishes over Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and Alexander Volkanovski. He admitted the Poirier fight was a slower-paced, strategic battle, but argued that only casuals who are obsessed with boxing matches would call it boring. Bisping made it clear Islam was hunting for the finish the entire time. It was Poirier's defensive grappling that made it a grind.
Was he boring when he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski the second time by a head kick in the very first round? No. None of those performances were boring. However, I will say, Saturday night, Jack versus Islam, yeah, it was a little bit uneventful, okay? And they did have a lot of people at my house watching the fight at that time complaining, saying that it was boring. A lot of times people were looking at their phones because it was one of those matches. Listen, Islam went out there, took him down time after time. This is mixed martial arts. This is not boxing. And yes, these kind of comments are what you hear from casuals or MMA haters or boxing purists, you know, the type of people, oh, MMA is just a bunch of hugging and stuff like that. Well, he was trying to finish the fight. It's just because Jack de la Maddalena had really good defense.
And the count wasn't done. He added that the welterweight division is an absolute shark tank of contenders, all clawing for a title opportunity. But after looking at every single option and how the landscape is shifting, he still believes the most realistic and electrifying next opponent for Islam is Kamaru Usman, not Ilia Topuria. Bisping thinks that matchup simply makes the most sense right now for everyone involved.
As a claim to fight for the belt because he's 19-0, he's undefeated and just knocked out Sean Brady. You've got Carlos Pratis that just sparked out former champion Leon Edwards in devastating fashion, did something that no one's ever done to Leon Edwards, so he's got a shot. You've also got Shavkat Rakhmonov that was the #1 contender, but then he got injured. You've got Bilal Muhammad going up against Ian Gary. Ian Gary's making a lot of noise saying that he wants to fight for the belt as well. And then, of course, after all that, you've got Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare. So there is no shortage of opponents. Oh, you've also got Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin Buckley's been doing great things and looking phenomenal lately as well. And he wants a title shot as well. So you put it all together. I mean, I don't think Ilia Topuria is going to get a shot to go up and fight Islam Makhachev.
Then you have Henry Cejudo breaking down the pound-for-pound list. He said he has Islam in his top 10 right now, but he will move him into the top 5 the second he successfully defends the welterweight title. He explained that becoming a champion is one thing, but proving you can keep that belt against all comers is what earns you that elite all-time status. For Henry, defending that 70-pound title is what truly cements Islam among the sport's immortal greats.
Listen to me, why? Because he still needs to defend that title. Once he defends that title, you could probably slide him in now into the top 5. But it's not until you can become a champion against Jack Della Maddalena. Let's talk about how is it that Jack JDM caught into the title, because he was number 5 or 6 at the time, and somebody got hurt. He slid in. He beat the crap out of Bilal Muhammad because because Bilal Muhammad wanted to do the Canelo hands. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did he beat a Shavkat? Did he beat a Kamaru Usman to get to that title? And that changes everything. So the same reason why you could become champion. All right, now let's see what the next best thing is.
Speaking on a potential fight with Islam, Kamaru himself said he loves Islam and that their fight would be one of the most respectful matchups in the entire sport. He said they're already competing with their brothers every single day in the gym, so facing Islam would just be another day at the office. Pure high-level competition with absolutely nothing personal behind it.
If that does materialize, it's going to be obviously one of the most respectful competitions out there. But we compete with our brothers each and every day. We go in the gym and we train with them and we grow with them and we grind with them. So it would be no different. It would just be competition at the highest level. So, hey, I want to see it.
Aaron Bronstetter had his reaction to the Islam vs. Poirier fight, and his takeaway was simple. While weight classes exist for a reason, elite skill can completely overwrite size, and Islam is living proof. He called Islam's skill level otherworldly, saying he dominated Poirier in a fight many expected to be a razor-close war. It wasn't competitive at all, and Islam made the move up in weight look absolutely effortless, cementing his place in the all-time great conversation.
There are weight classes for a reason. At the same time, skill is, such an important factor. Not to say that Zhang Weili isn't skilled, but at the same time, like, I think the skill level that Islam Makhachev continues to climb to is really like otherworldly at this point, because he just absolutely handled Jack Della Maddalena. I thought that fight was going to be a lot closer than it was, and that was not a competitive fight. Islam, you have to put in the all-time conversation now. He's just the way that he was able to move up and make that look so easy.
When asked about the future, Aaron Bronstetter said the opponent who intrigues him the most for Islam right now is Bilal Muhammad, calling him undefeated, incredibly well-rounded, and a fighter with no clear weaknesses. He added that Shavkat Rakhmonov is another elite matchup, but needs a comeback fight after his injury layoff. Bronstetter said both would be thrilling stylistic tests for Islam once the timing and activity finally line up.
I haven't seen any weaknesses in his game. He's undefeated. He just beat Sean Brady, who, if it wasn't Islam getting the title fight tonight, I think Sean Brady was right there. Like, he probably would have been next in line after the win over Leon Edwards. That's the one that intrigues me the most, honestly, is Michael Morales. The other one that really intrigues me is Shavkat, but I feel like Shavkat kind of needs a fight before he gets a title fight, to come back from injury, get a good win, and then go from there. See just how bad this injury is, because he didn't fight all of this year. You could say the same thing for Jack. I mean, Jack took 14 months off, was at the right place at the right time, got a title shot, and ended up capitalizing on it. Maybe you could put Shavkat in that spot, because I think Shavkat is just an absolutely elite fighter. And I think him versus Islam would be one hell of a fight.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you smash that like button, share it with another fight fan, and subscribe to Boxism for more killer previews, expert analysis, and all the drama leading up to fight night.